All right, let's review our lesson 2 from chapter 3 where we were adding integers. All right, so take a minute and write down these 4 problems on a separate sheet of paper. All right, we're going to look at these 4 examples of adding integers, and we'll look at the 2 ways where we wrote out positives and negatives and canceled out opposite signs to see what was left, and we'll also look at using the number line. All right, starting here with number 1, we have a positive 3, right? They don't write it, but it's understood to be a positive, and a positive 8, right? Plus, and really that's a positive 8. So we said we could say, all right, there's 3 plus an 8, right, which would give us positive 11, right? If we started on the number line at positive 3, and then we're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So we start at 3 and we're adding 8, we still end up with positive 11 as our solution. So number 2, right, if we look at drawing it out, we have 4 negatives and 6 positives, right? These 2 would cancel, 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 cancel. We're left with positive 2. All right, we also talked about our signs telling us what operation we do, right? Here they were both positive, so I can add 3 and 8 together, right? Same sign we add, get 11, keep the sign positive. Here they're opposite signs. I have a negative 4 and a positive 6. And so opposite subtract, right? So I could take 6 minus 4 and get 2. Since my positive value is larger, right? The absolute value is larger, I leave my answer as a positive. So number 3, we have negative 7 and negative 6. So same sign, right? Both negatives. I can add these values together, right? Negative 7 and negative 6 is 13. Since they're negative, my sign would be negative, right? I could look at it on the number line, start at negative 7, and then I'm adding a negative 6, which means I'm going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know what happened to them. But there we go. Negative 13 would be our solution. Number 4, we have opposite signs, right? This is a positive 5 and a negative 9. So opposite subtract. So I can go 9 minus 5, right? And I'm just taking their absolute value. 9 minus 5, I get 4. However, the 9 is a larger value, and that's negative. So my answer should be negative 4, right? I could also go 5 positives, 9 negative, cancel them out, and we're left with negative 4. All right, let's go on to page 209 in our books. And I want you to take a minute, pause the video here, and I'd like you to work on 22 through 27. Okay, numbers 22 through 27. So pause here and then check back and see how you did. All right, looking at number 22 here, and I want to talk about the use of parentheses. You'll see that whenever you have 2 signs in a row, right, plus, negative 6, they'll put that negative 6 in parentheses just to separate the signs, right? I could do this. I could have parentheses around that 9, right, and say that's a positive 9. But really with plus, remember, it's just understood that it's a positive. We don't actually have to write that symbol. So whether you use a number line, whether you write out positives and negative, however you do it, we need to start understanding these integer rules, because if we get larger numbers like 56 and negative 60, I don't want to have to write out 56 plus signs and 60 negative signs. I need to see that these are opposite signs, right? Positive 14, negative 6. So opposite, subtract. So I can do 14 minus 6, and it should give me 8. Then I just have to determine, is it going to be positive or negative? The positive value is bigger, so it's going to be a positive 8. Looking at adding 3 numbers. Remember, adding the order does not matter. So it doesn't matter if I add these two first, if I add these two first. I could even go first and third. With addition, the order doesn't matter. So when I look at this, I see a positive 15, a positive 9, and a negative 9. And I know that opposites will cancel each other out, meaning positive 9 and negative 9 would go to 0, and I'm left with 15. Number 24, I have a negative 4, a positive 12, and a negative 9. Okay, again, the order in which I do it does not matter. So what I like to do, and you don't have to do it this way, but one way to think about it is just to combine the ones that are same sign. So I have negative 4 and negative 9. And same sign, right, means that we add. So I'm going to add 4 and 9 together, and that would give me negative 13. And then I have plus 12. So here, opposite signs subtract. So 13 minus 12 is 1. Since the negative number is bigger, I'm going to have a negative 1 as my solution. Looking at 25, again, negative 16, positive 16. Those will cancel. I'm left with 22. In 26, I have 25, 3, and negative 25. Right, again, those cancel. Should be left with positive 3. And 27, we have 7, negative 19, and negative 7. So the 7 and negative 7 cancel. Should be left with negative 19. All right, let's look at some word problems here. It says in number 28, Ronnie receives $40 for his birthday. Right, so let's just write that down. He starts with $40. He then spends 15 at the movies. Now it says write an addition expression. So how would I represent a spending $15 at the movies? That should be negative 15. So I start with a positive 40, right? They get $40 for my birthday, and then I spend 15, so that's got to be a negative 15. So positive 40, negative 15. Opposite, subtract. So 40 minus 15 would be 25. And since the positive is the larger value, it would be positive 25. So meaning he'd have $25 left after spending 15 at the movies. See if you can solve number 29 and 30. So you got to set up an addition problem and then solve it to see. So pause the video here and work on those two. All right, number 29 starts out, says a quarterback is sacked for a loss of 5 yards. So we'd represent that with negative 5. On the next play, his team loses 15 yards. So in addition to that, we've lost 15 yards, right? And remember, we can put that in parentheses. Anytime we have double signs there, we can put it in parentheses. And then it says the team gains 12 yards. So to that, we're going to add 12 yards. All right, so we want to add these two at a time. I'm going to go with the same sign of -5 and -15. Add those together to get -20. And then we're adding 12 yards to that. So I can think opposite subtract. So I'm going to subtract 20 and 12. That would give me 8. And since the 20 is larger and it's negative, my answer should be -8. Not a good series there, right? For you football players, right? You'd be looking at a 4th down and 18. All right, next one says Pelican starts 60 feet above sea level. That'd be +60. And then, in addition to that, it descends 60 feet to catch a fish, right? We should know that the opposites will cancel out. And it will end up at 0 feet, meaning it's right at sea level. All right, one last thing I want you to think about as we look into subtraction of integers starting tomorrow is what is the relationship between addition and subtraction, or how do you relate addition to subtraction? And we've looked at some examples up here. For example, 40 plus -15. So when we have opposite signs, and then similar to -20 plus 12, we can say that, so I get my pen down here, adding a negative is just like subtracting a positive. So adding a negative is just like subtracting a positive. So 40 plus -15 is the same as 40 minus 15, right? We said that the order of addition doesn't matter. So in this one, I could say 12 plus -20, and that would be the same as 12 minus 20, right? So that's how we relate addition. So plus a negative is the same as subtracting a positive, right? So here, 12 minus 20 is the same as 12 plus -20. All right, and we'll look into the rules for subtraction tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day.